going to
Okay, thanks.
start. Why you are on mute in case if you are talking.
Just wait for a couple of minutes, please.
Okay.
I have some difficulty in. Okay. Now is my. Rajesh, please inform, is my screen visible to every one of you?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. I am audible also. Fine.
Yes.
வாழ்க வையகம் வாழ்க வையகம் வாழ்க வளமுடன். குருவே துணை. Be blessed by the divine. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, wisdom and peace. First of all, my sincere and wholehearted blessings to every one of you present today in this session directly from our Guru's place, Arya. And my sincere thanks to Rajesh and Meera for this great invitation. Let us all go down to the lotus feet of our Guru, Vethathiri Maharishi. Let us humbly touch the feet of our parents. My warm regards to every one of you. Valga Valamudan. Now, as Rajesh introduced about this topic, this is one of the valuable subjects Swamiji addresses, greatness of women. I just want to put forth this question: who should understand the greatness of women? Because it's a common practice to put the blame on gents and say that they should be taught the greatness of women. But I always feel that it is the women who should be made to understand their own greatness. Once Swamiji said that laws are made to bind and protect the people. But throughout the world, there is always conflict between two laws. Their differences are irreconcilable and have probably been in existence from the beginnings of time. Can any one of you guess what are those two laws? Yes, you are right. Swamiji humorously said that it is mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. So I think that it is the responsibility of women to wipe out this blemish. Now, all of us, not only women, both men and women present here in this session today, try to understand the important subject, greatness of women, which is very much essential for the well-being of humanity as a whole. Why women are considered to be great? What is so special about them? Our great Guru, Vethathiri Maharishi, answers this question very beautifully and in a most simple way. Once, when asked to Swamiji about the greatness of women, he put a written question. Tell me what is the world's population today? And we all know that as of March 2020, it was estimated to have reached 7.8 billion. That is 780 crores. In this 780 crores, Swamiji is asking all of us, if one half is women, what will be the other half? Generally, we all would say, Swamiji, the other half is male. If one half is women, naturally the other half is male. That would be the reply from all of us. But Swamiji puts it like this. He says, one half is women and the rest are the children given birth to and raised by the women. Such is the greatness of women. So, women are incomparable and they are always special. This is the wordings of our Guru Vethathiri Maharishi. He says so beautifully in one of his poems, பெண்ணினத்தின் பெருமதிப்பை உணர்ந்தே உள்ளேன், பேருலகில் வாழுகின்ற மக்கள் எல்லாம் பெண்ணினத்தின் அன்பளிப்பே எனில் இதைவிட பெருமை வேறென்ன எடுத்து பேசுதற்கு. Whomsoever it may be the President of US or Prime Minister of India, but they are all kids of a mother. So such is the greatness of women. And now it is asked to Swamiji again, Swamiji, is men and women are equal? Another question raised by our devotees to Swamiji. Now let us see what was his reply. Swamiji simply said, who said men and women are equal? It is not so. So now all men are very happy, thinking that Swamiji is in their favor. That's why he is answering, women are not equal to men. They started talking to themselves. So men are superior to women. Hearing this, Swamiji immediately intervened. When did I say that men are superior? Now they all got confused. So Swamiji, do you mean to say that women are superior? Swamiji calmly replied, women are not superior to men. Neither men. Women and men are not equal. Do not puzzle over this. He said, women are a gift. They are precious treasures. Therefore, women ought to be given due respect so that the future generation is healthy. See, so I feel that every one of you present here today, please let us may even take it as a pledge that we should respect women since they are assigned with the responsibility of giving birth to and raising kids by the supreme nature itself. So at least for the sake of our future generation, it should be made mandatory to respect women by everyone. Because the future generation's health, happiness, character, everything is in the hands of women. So that is the reason Maharishi says that எல்லையற்ற ஆற்றலுள்ள இறைவன் திரு உள்ளம் என்ன, எவ்வுயிரும் தோன்றுதற்கு ஏற்றதொரு திருவழியாய் வல்லமையாய் பெண்ணினத்தை வடிவமைத்தான் அற்புதமே. வாழ்ந்து வரும் மக்களில் இவ்வளம் அறிந்தோர் எத்தனை பேர். So it is the responsibility of everyone to understand the glory of women, because Swamiji feels that it is not confined to women alone, but it is essential for the emancipation of mankind as a whole. Because we all know this famous quote, when you educate a man, you educate a man. But when you educate a woman, you educate a generation. The fastest way to change society is to mobilize the women of the world. So with this brief note, I want to focus my attention exclusively on women now. Let me start with Oprah Winfrey's famous quote. All women who were fortunate to be present here in this today's session, please think like a queen. A queen is not afraid to fail. And we all know, as Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam so beautifully put it, he says fail is nothing but first attempt in learning. So why should we be afraid to fail? Failure is another stepping stone to greatness. This is what Oprah Winfrey once said in one of her interviews. But in order to think like a queen, you have to stand tall. By urging you to stand tall, I don't mean merely to stand erect, although that's part of it. I mean that you should heighten your entire personality by standing tall in three ways. First one is to stand tall physically. See, here comes the greatness of our Guru. How beautifully he has taught us a very, very simple but most effective practices. Actually, the picture what you are seeing is taken in a suburb, very, very small, tiny hamlet in Tamil Nadu, India. How many ladies are doing the practice? Not only ladies, even old age people. Even the person above the age of 80 can easily do our physical exercise. But doctors are wondering how this simple exercise is able to activate all our internal organs, all the vital organs, heart, lungs, kidney, our digestive system, respiratory system, everything gets rejuvenated just by doing Swamiji's very simple physical exercise. Actually, that is the reason one gynecologist, very recently I met her, she is doing her practices in Authur, a small city near Salem district, in Salem district. She told me, madam, wherever you go, please don't say that Swamiji's exercise is very simple. Please mention that it has been made simple by the tireless efforts of Swamiji. So I feel that every woman present in this session, it's our first duty to do the physical exercises every day morning. Then to stand tall mentally. For that again, Swamiji comes with a beautiful practice. See, Swamiji is a very practical person because he always says that I am not teaching anything new today. What are all I am teaching today, it has been said right from the Vedic age. All our Vedas, Upanishad. So all the great saints and rishis of our country have presented everything. Maybe my words differ to suit the modern age. That's all. So nothing is new. That the greatness of our Guru stands in the practical application side. He never says anything in theory. So all the practices he has designed himself in such a simple fashion that even a child of 7 years old and even an elderly person of more than 70 can do the simple physical exercise. That is the reason we say that it is made simple. So now coming to standing tall mentally. How to stand tall mentally? Swamiji again comes with the practice. When we say about mental prosperity, we always talk about the self-control, that we should be able to control the situation rather than the situations controlling us. But in our day-to-day life, it is a normal practice that we fall prey to the situations. But Swamiji gives us a beautiful practice known as introspection, so that whenever time permits, if we analyze, why am I getting angry? Why do I worry? Is this desire really essential for me? When we put all those questions to ourselves, we can really stand tall mentally and we will never fall prey to any situation. And again, we have to stand tall spiritually too. Hope the screen has changed now. Okay, is it okay? Do you all see the stand tall spiritually screen now?
Yes.
Wow, thank you very much. So for that, all of you may be answering beautifully that what is the practice Swamiji has given for our spiritual growth. If I ask you this simple question, you will all come up with the answer. It's meditation. You are right. Swamiji has given a beautiful sky practice. Simplified Kundalini Yoga. Here again, Swamiji says that this practice is also right from Patanjali Munivar's period. It is there in our country. All I did is to make it simple. That's all. Because we all know in Patanjali Munivar's Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyanam comes only in the 7th place. After Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama, Pratyahara Dharana comes Dhyanam. But Swamiji, on the very first day, whenever a new aspirant enters into our Sky campus, he or she is being initiated in the Agna practice. So to stand tall spiritually also, Swamiji comes up with a beautiful meditation practice. So I just request every one of you present here today in this session to please start your morning with the practices. Let your morning first hour be me time. What are the benefits we achieve if at all we allocate this me time every day morning? The very first benefit is we gain self-control. Not only self-control, we develop self-confidence, and most importantly, we start loving ourselves. See, unless otherwise I love myself, how can I expect others to love me? But this is a common mistake every one of us do. We always have complaints about ourselves. Whenever we stand in front of a mirror, what do we say? I should have been a little bit taller, or my eyes should have been a little bit bigger. Everything we only condemn and complain. From today onwards, just start loving ourselves so that everyone around us will also love us. And when it comes to this self-control, this is one important thing which I want every one of us to develop. Because we actually think that it is the situation or the people or the objects around us that is the reason for our worries and miseries. But by practicing our simple exercise, Kayakalpa, meditation and introspection, you will always feel that you are the person who is responsible for your own life. That is why Swamiji always says that you take up the entire responsibility on your own shoulders so that your life will be absolutely in your hands. So very first thing I want to emphasize again is please start with this me time, every one of you. And then second thing I want every one of you to learn is live and let live. Please first take care of yourself. Just think of our own heart. How does it function? Even though it is the responsibility of the heart to pump blood throughout the body, it pumps blood to first to itself. So heart is the organ which receives the blood very first instance. Then only it pumps blood to the whole of our body. So please, please, please do take care of yourself. Unless otherwise you are healthy and happy, you cannot take care of your own affectionate family. So please do the practices every day. But I know things will become difficult before they become easy. But don't give up. Of course, it takes time. Maybe even our own family members criticize us. What is this early in the morning? You started raising your hands and lifting your legs. Just never bother about the criticisms. Keep practicing to watch wonders happening in your life. Not only in your life, in all the circle, wherever you move, whether it is your family or workplace. So it is very important to start with the practices. And one more important thing I want to discuss is please develop this let go attitude, because it is a one general complaint about ladies that we are so attached. We never learn this art of let go. It is very beautifully said that all our problems are stuck between mind and matter. If we really don't mind, it doesn't matter. So please stop worrying about little things in life. Great things, because naturally this question may arise, no? If I say stop worrying about little things, so what about great things? But great things will automatically be taken care of in the course of time. So you just relax, never ever worry for anything. The next point I want to discuss is, this is most important point, and Swamiji is very particular about this. Swamiji says this not only for women, to everyone. Develop a detached mindset. You do everything happily, but don't attach yourself to anything. Only this attachment causes misery or worry. We always think, as I just now told, that it is either our life partner, our kids who make us sad, who are the reason for our problems and miseries. But Swamiji says it is not so actually. It is our attachment which causes the misery. For example, imagine that your child scores 99 out of 100 in maths. How many of you, please be honest, how many of you appreciate the child for scoring 99? Most of the times, we are worried about the missing one mark rather than his 99. At the same time, see, actually, this is the thing I am narrating from my own life. This is what happened in my life, because my own son, when he scored 99 in maths, I just yelled at him, what about the one, remaining one mark? He was so upset on that day and was complaining to his dad. See, Appa, I worked very hard to score 99, but Amma is not happy with 99. She is very much concerned about that one mark. Actually, I really feel very bad now. When I gained maturity, I felt very sorry that I have really tortured my own son. But that is out of ignorance, no? But interestingly, what happened, no? At the same time, when I am shouting at my son for not scoring 100 marks, the kid from our neighborhood came running to me to show that he scored 60 marks. I just appreciated him because I was telling to him, Beta, I know you very well. In the last exam, you really struggled even to pass. But today, you have achieved first class. So I'm very proud of you. So my son really, he got confused because he couldn't get any appreciation from me for scoring 99. But now look at the child who scored only 60 marks, and I am praising him. I am saying I feel proud of you. Why? What is the difference here? Because I am able to encourage my neighbor's son for scoring 60 marks, and I am motivating him also. You can really score above 80 in your next exams if only you put some more efforts. But to my own son, I am just shouting for not scoring centum. So now from this, it might be clear to every one of you that it is because of my attachment. My son, he should be the topper. This attachment alone is the reason for my worry. I am able to be very happy with my neighbor's son's 60 marks, but I am worried about my own son's 99. That is the reason Swamiji says, please don't be attached. Develop a detached mindset. He puts it beautifully in one of his Tamil lyrics. Uravile kanda unmai nilai telive turavu. He doesn't want any one of us to be detached completely. Come out of your family. Sacrifice yourself to the society. He never says like that. He says, be in your family, earn well, save it for your own and your family's sake. At the same time, devote, whether it is money or your valuable time, please devote 1% to the society. Keep the 99% for your own and your family's welfare. Let the 1% come out for the sake of society. So when we develop this detachment, even in our attachment, our life will really go very smooth. So this is the famous quote by Swamiji, you be affectionate. Because there is a very thin line between affection and attachment. We normally get confused. We misunderstand attachment as affection. See, it is the nature of a mother especially to be affectionate. So you don't want me to be affectionate hereafter? No. Please don't misunderstand. There is a mild difference between being affectionate and being attached. I am talking about this attachment. Only this attachment causes misery. Whereas if we are really affectionate, that will always give us happiness. Mahakavi Bharati quotes it very beautifully. Anbudayar inbutru vardal iyalbu. So it is a natural quality of affection to make you happy. Not only you, the one who is blessed to receive your affection, they will also be very happy. But where the problem arises is only where we are attached. That is the reason Swamiji is very particular. You be affectionate, but beware of your attachment. Only attachment causes misery. And this one important point I want to discuss, especially with ladies now. Please try to learn something every day. Maybe it's half a page or maybe 5 minutes. You just devote your valuable time to learn something new every day. Because we all know that intelligence reduces dependency. When you know something, knowledge is always power, no? Your confidence level increases. So you will never be dependent on anyone. So please just keep it in your mind. Make it a practice to learn something every day. And this one important attribute I want to discuss with you, be passionate. This is a famous quote I love very much. The most beautiful makeup of a woman is patience. But cosmetics are easier to buy. So we go for cosmetics rather than being passionate. But this one attitude, I want every person, not only women. When we are passionate about something, nothing can stop us from achieving that. So this one quality, but just try to figure out which field is your passion. Unless otherwise we find it out, we cannot focus. So this passion is one important thing every one of us should develop. Actually, the reason many people suffer is not that life goes tough. It is that they haven't found something worth living for. Unless otherwise we are passionate about something, the life would always be boring. Or sometimes we complain that life is too tough on me. But when you have something worth to live for, you will never bother about anything. Actually, there is an interesting story. Once a young boy who recently joined in a corporate was complaining to his manager that everyone working in that office, they are always gossiping. They say something or other about the other people. So it really bothers him, distracts him. He couldn't concentrate in his work. Like that, he goes on and on and on. Then that manager, he just wanted to make this young guy to understand the truth. He just gave us a small assignment. He gave him a cup of water. The water was filled up to the brim of that cup. Now the manager told him, I just want you to come around my cabin only once. But one simple condition, not even a drop of water should fall from the cup. Please be very careful so that the water remains as it is. You don't spill the water. He said, fine. So he tried. He was very much cautious and he took nearly 15 minutes to just come around once his cabin. Then he kept the cup full of water on the manager's table. So the manager asked, so you are successful? He said, yeah, I was very careful that not even a single drop of water spilled from the cup. Now manager asked him, so how many of you around you were criticizing you for doing this exercise? Futile. Why do you bother about this? Water, if at all some drops of water spill down, maybe we can wipe it off. See, he is doing futile job. How many of your colleagues talked like that? He said, I don't know. Why? Because I am fully concentrated on this cup of water. My whole concentration is that I should never spill water from this cup. So now manager said, this is what I want from you. When you are so focused in your job, you will never worry about others' gossip. So please try to find something worth living for so that you will never bother about anyone's criticism and you won't even complain that life is too tough on me. And this is actually all about women. So I think this is special for women because it is the weakness of women to always expect for appreciation. But my humble request to every one of you is please don't seek validation. This is a famous quote I love always. Stars don't shine because they want to be seen. They shine because they are stars. You love your own family members because you are affectionate. You are a loving personality. So please don't expect anything in return for your love and affection. Actually, we are making our own love cheaper then if we start expecting our life partner, our kids to reciprocate the same affection or love to us. I feel that the dignity of our love and affection is coming down. So please never ever do that. And this is a beautiful quote from our ancient wisdom. There is a special place in hell for women who do not help other women. The same holds good if we gossip against another woman. Please let us be very clear in our mind that we should never do this. See, why should we judge anyone? In whatever way the other person behaves, after all, it is their right to behave in such and such a fashion. If we don't like to behave in that manner, let us don't do that. But it is none of our business to judge the other person. So please don't do this. Let us help each other to live life to the fullest. Let us don't fight against what we hate. Let us fight for what we love. Then you will find your life to be very meaningful. When you start fighting for what you love, that really makes your life meaningful. But all along, we have been fighting against what we hate. Swamiji says very beautifully, விருப்பத்தை ஒழித்துவிட முயல வேண்டாம். வெறுப்பை ஒழித்தால் அதுவே மேன்மை நல்கும். So whatever you love, continue to love. Nothing wrong in it. But please beware of your hatred. Because hatred poisons our own biomagnetism. So I just want to conclude, but before conclusion, I want to make this one point so strongly imprinted in all of your minds. So even if you forget all what we have discussed so far, my humble request to every one of you is, please take care of your me time. This is not only for women, for everyone present. And you can even carry this message to all your friends and relatives, whoever you love, and be affectionate. Please ask them also to follow this me time. When you allocate this me time, when you take this me time for yourself, you will find the whole of the day, the rest of the day is taken care of in a very beautiful way. So please, everyday morning, start with your me time, practice meditation and exercises every day. That will keep you healthy, happy, and helping also. And the most important benefit we derive from this me time is we will enjoy being with us and we will never feel lonely. All our miseries and worries have their root only in dependency. When we learn the art of being alone happily, then we will never complain about anybody. So that is the most important benefit we derive from this me time. Whenever we allocate this morning first hour for ourselves, we absolutely have no complaints about anyone. We will always enjoy being with us, because then only we will come to know about us. We will never feel lonely. So this one point, me time, I want to emphasize. And one important poem of our Guru Vethathiri Maharishi I want to share with you, because it is a normal practice. Whenever we go for a wedding, we always say, Padinarum Petru Peruvalvu Valga. But what are those 16 values? Swamiji puts it very beautifully. Irai Unarvum, Araneriyum, Kalvi, Danam, Daniyam, Ilamai, Valivu, Tunivu, Nanmakkatperu, அறிவில் உயர்ந்தோர் நட்பு அன்புடைமை அகத்தவம் அழகு புகழ் மனித மதிப்பு உணர்ந்து ஒழுகும் பண்பு பொறை உடைமை எனும் பேறு 16 பெற்று போற்றலுக்கும் தூற்றலுக்கும் வாழ்த்துக்களே கூறி மறை விளக்கும் உயர் வாழ்வை மதித்து ஒழுக்கம் காத்து மனை அறத்தின் ஒளி விளக்காய் வலம் ஓங்கி நீங்கள் வாழ்க. My sincere prayers for every one of you present here today in this session, that you should all be blessed with this 16 values and be a light to your own family and then to the society as a whole. So thank you very much for your patient listening. Be blessed by the divine. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, wisdom and peace. And my wholehearted thanks to Rajesh and Meera for this wonderful opportunity. Valga Valamudan. Thanks a lot, every one of you. Valga Valamudan. Over to Rajesh.
Thank you, Amma, for the wonderful speech. Let's bless Amma. Professor V.S. Arulchelvi Amma, overhead.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
ப்ரொஃபசர் அருட்செல்வி அம்மா அவர்களுடைய குடும்பம்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
ப்ரொஃபசர் அருட்செல்வி அம்மா அவர்களுடைய ஆன்மீக தொண்டு.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். We will open the floor for like questions. You can unmute yourself and ask Amma questions for like next 10-15 minutes.
Actually, it is my pleasure to be with you all today. So thank you very much, every one of you. Valka Valamudan.
Amma, this is Meera. So one question I'm asking on behalf of many working women here who are also masters. There are a couple of areas that they normally want to initially when they become a master, Arulnidhiyar, and when they want to start the service, they run into two things. One is the initial confidence to prepare the sky topics and render to the broader audience. And then the second is time management with all the other family responsibilities. So would be interested to get your thoughts as to how you managed both in your initial stages as you entered into service while also working and also taking care of family. So that would be good, important tips for the women masters here.
Wow, this is really a very beautiful question because see, I too struggled a lot in the beginning because my mind always wants to do service. But as Meera beautifully put it, I am working in a bank. So that bank job itself is giving me more stress. But what I did was, initially, I just never thought of doing service. But I am very particular that every day I am doing the practice. That is the reason I am repeatedly emphasizing on this me time, because that is what I did initially. And what I do normally now, I know pretty well that once if I go home from bank, I won't find time to do meditation because my child was at that time only 1-year-old boy. So normally I used to do this simple trick. Straight away from bank, I used to go to meditation center. And luckily that time actually matches for me. Because bank actually, it was over by 5 o'clock, but this meditation center, they have the group meditation at 6:30. And my commute, everything, no, it normally 6:15 at that time, I will reach the meditation center and start doing the meditation. And even before the meditation is over, I will just slowly slip away from the hall without making noise. Because I know pretty well that if I stay there once till the meditation is over, everyone will be around me starting talking. Then I can't say, no, I have to rush up to my home like that, no. So what I did is just before even the meditation concludes, I just walk away from the hall. So exact half an hour, by 6:25, I'll be out from the meditation hall and then I just go to home. See, now two things happen, no. I am totally relaxed. After a long day, I just meditate, and that too a group meditation. But actually, I am fortunate enough to have this situation like this, no. It was so convenient for me. The meditation center was also nearby, but I don't know how far this will work out in US. But I think you can also do like this, no? Even though you may not have a chance of participating in a group meditation, just you take the permission of your family members immediately after coming from your workplace. You just lock yourself into your room, maybe for 15 minutes. Just close your eyes, do meditate, and you will really feel very fresh. When you come out of your room, we will be so fresh and happy to serve everyone in the family, and they will also receive the positive vibration from you. So my simple suggestion is, please don't go for service in the beginning. Even though the environment forces us, because everyone, even in my own center, they will always say, why Arul is coming and going? She's not doing any service. But as I said now, I just never bothered about any criticism because it was so clear in my mind that Swamiji's fivefold duty. We all know that, no? Udal, Kudumbam, Sutram, ஊரார் உலகோர்க்கு ஆற்றும் கடமை முறையே முக்கியம் கெடாமலும் பார் ஒன்றினால் மற்று. So one should not affect the other duty. So I was very cautious in that. Now my son is also grown up. So you see now, when you practice in this manner without affecting the other, automatically you will get a chance to dedicate your whole time to the society. So in the beginning, my simple suggestion is, please take care of yourself. Don't even think about the service. You just do meditate, you do exercise. So you gain your self-confidence and also do introspect. Once when you reach that stage, that nothing makes you upset. That is the real test for our practice, whether we have been successful in the practice. What is the test? We should never be upset. Even if the other person does wrong things, we should be able to understand that is okay. That is, what is his intelligence level? Why should I bother? Actually, I am the person who is meditating and who is every day struggling to fine-tune myself, to be calm, cool, composed, to be loving and affectionate. So that is my concern. So it is the responsibility of me to understand even the other person who is doing wrong. So in that way, if we mold ourselves, automatically nature gives us space and time to do service. So this is my simple suggestion. Thank you very much, Meera, for this wonderful question. Varsha Valamudan.
Thank you, Ma. And just to follow up, maybe really quick, maybe others have other questions. So when you initially then came into service, what advice, not only for women, generally for other all masters, sometimes people ask, how do I practice even starting the classes? So I know we have proper training nowadays, APT and other classes, but sometimes it is just to boost the confidence. Any tips you have for a couple of things?
Again, this is also such a beautiful question. See, normally, even today, I feel a bit nervous only before addressing any audience. See, it may be my nature, but I always wonder that I am right now sitting in our director, Vision Academy, Dr. K. Perumal Ayya's place. And my first prayer was, even before starting this session, I always wonder at K. Perumal Ayya, the way he takes the class. And whenever I just call him and ask for his appointment, he always says, "Nee enna vena kudupa, enna topic vena kudu." And he never bothers about the language also. Tamil, English, anything, you just give it to me. And he presents it so beautifully. Even today, I am wondering at him. And I'll be asking Swamiji, when I will become like him? See how boldly and confidently he faces any crowd. So see, in my opinion, it may vary from person to person, no? Even after so many years of hearing directly from Swamiji, and even today, every day I make it a practice to read at least one single page of Swamiji. Sometimes, if at all I am unable to read, I would be very particular in at least listening to his lecture. Even after this practice, I am not yet 100% confident. See, what I am trying to convey through this is, it differs from person to person. So you please fix what type of personality you are. And then you start practicing. Maybe you are a person who is bold enough, who is very confident. Maybe whatever little things you know, you will be able to put it so beautifully because of your confidence level. And in my case, even though I know too many things, I every time feel a bit nervous only before facing any crowd. But once my session is over, everyone will start be appreciating. Oh, it's so nice, it's beautiful, wonderful. I then humbly bow down to Swamiji. Swamiji, you just made this presentation very beautifully. Thank you very much. But initially, no, I think that we have to know more, read more, listen more, and then automatically you can present yourself. But you start with simple things, maybe a 5 minutes talk in the beginning. After a group meditation, you start with simple talk, or maybe even you start with conducting meditation. That will increase your confidence level. Or you start with teaching exercise, that even you can do online. When you start teaching exercise, no, automatically your fear will get reduced and your confidence level will get increased. So you just start slowly, gradually, then improve step by step, and then come for the half an hour or 1 hour lecture. So this is my simple suggestion. Thank you very much. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Thank you.
And I always wonder about Swamiji, just third standard. How bold, Swamiji, you want to go to US and give lectures. I always think like that. Even today, I am so scared to talk. But that is the point, no? He is always in connection with the Supreme Almighty. So even if we try to connect ourselves to that great Supreme Power, I think maybe he himself is presenting through us. So thank you once again. வாழ்க வளமுடன், வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன், ma'am. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, வாழ்க வளமுடன். Please proceed.
My name is Aishwarya, and
Okay.
I have a doubt, ma'am. Like I do introspection, meditation, and exercise almost daily. But then as days go on, I've started feeling that there is always a cat and rat fight within me itself, as when I do the introspection. So I actually don't know how to face over this. After meditation, when I do an introspection, it's really very different. I stay very calm and introspect properly. But then what's happening is that, like, a day-to-day habit, whenever I do something itself, the introspection starts running in my mind. But there is always a fight within me itself. There are like two voices being heard. This is right, this is wrong. I don't know how to face over this, actually. Yeah, this is my doubt.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Actually, in the initial stage, everyone faces this situation. And what we decide, that really speaks about our personality. Suppose your kid has done some mischief. Maybe something wrong also went. Maybe he tried to take a chocolate from the fridge. And by mistake, the milk in the fridge, it was just poured down. So normally we get irritated. Maybe because after work pressure, we have to clean that. And this thought itself makes us upset. So in those situations, our immediate reaction would be to start shouting at the kids. But at the same time, our inner voice will always be saying, what is this? You are doing meditation, introspection, and after everything, now you are shouting at the kid. See, even we elderly people, sometimes we also do mistakes. So this inner voice will always point out that, why don't you be calm? Why don't you understand the kid's position? But at the same time, we will be shouting only. While shouting at the kid, this inner voice may be going on inside. Slowly, what happens, after the practice, and it depends upon our karma also. So maybe within a short time or after a long time, one day, but mark my words, one day, surely you will overcome this struggle inside us. Hearing these two voices, you will be very confident. You will be saying, it's okay, dear, you just come out, or please help me in cleaning the surface. Your response will be like this. But for that, you need practice. Till then, this is quite normal for every one of us. In the beginning, every one of us, our outward behavior is something different, but at the same time, the inner consciousness, it will always point out what you are doing is not correct. Try to change, try to change. So when we are able to follow the inner voice is depending upon our practice and our karma, so many things. But it is a good sign only. Whenever you are doing something outside, but your inner conscious says, no, this is not correct. Try to change. Try to change. Maybe initially we may not be able to follow the inner voice. But over a period of time, certainly we will follow that. Thank you very much. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Thank you. Thank you. வாழ்க வளமுடன். I think time is up.
Thanks, Ma. I'm Vijay from Sacramento.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, for topic and also for explanations and examples also very touching and useful for all the masters and upcoming masters also. Nice, thanks, Ma. And thanks to organizing that Seattle Thai Meditation Center. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். I'm also thankful to be part of this family today. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Ma. Okay.
Thank you, Amma. If there are no further questions, then we can conclude. Anyone have any questions? Otherwise, we can conclude. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Thank you, Amma. உலக நல வாழ்த்து சொல்லி we can conclude.
Okay, let us go for உலக நல வாழ்த்து. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Thank you, every one of you. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Thank you, Amma. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
உலகமெல்லாம் பருவமழை ஒத்தபடி பெய்யட்டும், உழவரெல்லாம் தானியத்தை ஓப்புடனே
பெருக்கட்டும், பல தொழில்கள் தொகுத்துணர்வு பண்பாட்டை உயர்த்தட்டும், கழகம் போட்டி பகை ஆட்சி நடத்தட்டும், கல்வி கடன்களை வாழ்வை கடமை அறவாழ்வின் நாட்டத்தை சிறக்கட்டும், நம் கடமை வாழ்வின் நாட்டத்தை அறவாழ்வின் சிறக்கட்டும். வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வளமுடன். Thank you. Thanks, Rajesh, for organizing this. Thanks, Amma, for joining.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Thanks, Amira.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Thank you.